What's in store for Toronto? Will there be pot cafes, vapor lounges, and retail stores popping up on every street corner? And will there be a balance for those who are not fans of legalization? Well, with the municipal election just around the corner, we asked some of the top mayoral candidates about how they envision cannabis culture and the multi-billion-dollar business unfolding on our streets.
I've come out really strongly in support of the cannabis community.
Mayoral candidate Sarone Gebra-Selassie is calling for a pro-pot Toronto, and she says as mayor, she would advocate to take amnesty to the next level.
The way forward for the city of Toronto is to open up pathways for newcomers to enter into the industry. I've also called for amnesty. So as mayor of the city of Toronto, I would be calling on our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to extend amnesty for all those who have been met with convictions for cannabis-related charges.
Even more serious charges like trafficking?
Yes, absolutely. Anything that is now deemed legitimate under this legislative regime needs to be applied retroactively.
But mayoral candidate Sarah Clemenega is calling for a very different approach.
Well, I think we have to proceed very carefully. We need to make sure we're very strict with the age limits. People are concerned about how it's going to affect their neighborhoods, how many stores are going to be around. We need to be very careful on that, and I think we need to pursue the Crown, the LCBO model to begin with, and then we can always decide to do it differently later, but for now we have to regulate it as carefully as we can while we get used to this new reality.
A very clear thing that we can do, as an example, is looking at the location of storefronts.
Both Jennifer Keesmaat and John Tory are wide open to a private cannabis retail marketplace here in the city, but both express concern about the potential clustering of pot shops.
They don't like the juxtaposition of a retail marijuana dispensary right next to an ice cream shop or a convenience store.
Tory also says that with all this freedom to toke, maybe it's time to relax some alcohol laws.
Well, I just think we saw at Pride this past summer that when people were allowed to actually have the revolutionary step of walking around with a beer in their hand, the world did not come to an end. And now we're saying if they can walk down the sidewalk smoking a cigarette, they can walk down the sidewalk smoking a joint. Now, shouldn't we have a bit of a discussion about how we deal with alcohol?
Toronto can opt out of pot sales completely. Not one candidate, though, has considered that an option, and all four seem to be open to the idea of pot cafes. Now, all of this will shake down over the coming months. Right now, the only way to buy legal weed is online through the Ontario Cannabis Store. And ever since it opened yesterday, demand has been high, very high. It can now take up to 5 days to get your package.